Because it's not a border crisis, it's an imperialism crisis, it's a climate crisis, it's a trade crisis.
Thank you, AOC, for explaining that what's happening at the border, it's not a border crisis, it's a climate crisis. Awesome. Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants, as well as their useful idiots. Hello, AOC. Shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Now, as you know, there is a situation at the border. Just the border is intentionally being held open. There is no question about that at this point. I would dare say it's a plot to weaken America. And I'll show you the latest border statistics and visuals of what's happening there. It is just shocking. Get to that in a minute. But first, AOC. I mean, if she doesn't deserve a place on Mount Rushmore, I don't know who does. So she's always had exquisitely informed takes on things. I mean, she is, talk about an intellectual, a political scholar, just a deep philosopher. That is AOC. I mean, her qualifications for being someone who helps run the country, she's a former bartender. And I don't know for sure, but my guess is she probably wasn't even a very good one. So she recently had a hot take about the border, and this is in response to Joe Biden, the Biden administration, continuing to build the border wall, allegedly, which I kind of doubt. But anyway, she was all fired up that Biden hasn't officially squashed the border wall project. She informed us of things that no other human being on earth knows, nor could they even think of them. Only her mind could. Take a look. It's pretty good.
So often people want to say,
by the way, anytime someone starts with a finger, so often, why do my insides boil when I see that?
So often people want to say, why aren't you talking about the border crisis? Or why aren't you talking about it in this way? Well, we're talking about it. They just don't like how we're talking about it. Because it's not a border crisis. It's an imperialism crisis. It's a climate crisis. It's a trade crisis. This is not a surge.
And I would suspect all of that is fact-check true. The border crisis is not a border crisis. It's an imperialism crisis. It's a climate crisis, for crying out loud. Please, AOC, keep fighting misinformation so that the truth that you speak can get out there. So if we had less carbon in the atmosphere, we would have a more secure border. Think about that.
These are children.
Are they? Why are all these children disguised as military-aged men? I don't know, but she knows.
And they are not insurgents. And we are not being invaded. Which, by the way, is a white supremacist idea, philosophy.
I love that. I love the idea that when a country's invaded and they don't like being invaded, that's a white supremacist philosophy. Just like when Nazi Germany invaded Poland thinking they were being invaded, I don't appreciate that white supremacy. Now, to learn more about AOC's deep philosophy, I'm here on Ground News, and I'm going to scroll down, which, by the way, it's awesome. It shows you you can pick articles that have a media bias left, center, or right. So I want to see what the right has to say about this. So I'm going to click here on Red State. Its media bias is right. Transparency, I want to see what they have to say. AOC shreds Joe Biden over border wall construction. The Biden administration, in a surprising turn of events, decided to channel its inner Trump and announce construction on parts of the border wall in South Texas. The move stirred a fierce response from Democrats and a chorus of "we told you so" from conservatives, which, by the way, the continued construction of the border wall, like I said earlier, I'll believe it when I see it. The administration of the Bidens, that is, invoked executive power, waiving 26 federal laws to continue construction of the wall, much to the consternation of people like AOC. What did AOC have to say in response to the administration doing that? Well, the lawmaker, aka bartender, minced absolutely no words in expressing her disapproval. The Biden administration was not required to waive several environmental laws to expedite the building of the border wall. The president needs to take responsibility for this decision and reverse course. Just imagine that being said with a waving finger in your face. Expert communication. If you want to persuade people, just do this. come across so lovingly. AOC is also a physicist as well, because here we see AOC continued arguing that physical barriers are not an effective way to curb illegal immigration. So if you're not a physicist, let me explain this to you. A physical barrier, it's just not effective at inhibiting physical entry into a place. I mean, that's just like the front door to your house. If the door is closed, that physical barrier isn't going to prevent you from going in. Yeah, the door is locked, but you just walk right through it because of AOC logic. And there's more to say in a second, but first I have a question for you. Are you sick and tired of being deceived by media where they try to present something as truth when in fact they may, or oftentimes do, have an extreme political bias, where you're left either being uninformed or misinformed because you don't know exactly what the media bias is? Well, I don't know about you, but I'm someone who wants to be informed, and I'm sick and tired of the deception, and that's why I have fallen in love with Ground News. It's the answer we've been looking for because it brings transparency to the information you're looking for. Ground News is a website and app that compiles news from all around the world into one place with full transparency. Check out a couple of the things that Ground News does that nobody else is doing. Here on the topic of AOC and her border wall rant, it gives you the coverage details, the total number of articles published about a story, as well as their political bias. So instead of being deceived like, hey, here's some information, you can see who wrote the information. It also gives you the bias distribution. So now you know the political affiliation for each source and each story, and that's based on a rating from 3 independent news monitoring organizations. It also lets you compare headlines. So let's just say you want to learn more about Nikki Haley, what she's done recently. Why does Tucker Carlson hate her, and why is Trump considering her for VP? Well, Ground News lets you sort articles based on, hey, what did the center publications say about her? What are the leftist publications saying about her? And what's the right have to say about her? Then you just click on the article and you read it on its original source. And I love this because it eliminates the guesswork. Now you know what bias the article has that you're reading. So with everyone's favorite bartender, AOC, on the border wall story, you'll see the left media places write about her very favorably. You can sort the articles and find the right-leaning sources on this story, and they'll be writing about her in a way that I probably would. So now you can be fully informed with full transparency, and Ground News makes it possible. Just go to ground.news/JPReacts to check it out. And when you subscribe through my link, you get 30% off unlimited access to the Vantage subscription, which is what I use. When you subscribe, you're not only supporting me and supporting yourself, you're supporting an independent platform that's making the news more transparent. Once again, that's ground.news/JPReacts, and enjoy a full 30% off unlimited access to the Vantage subscription. Enjoy. Back to the border and just how bad is it? Well, latest statistics published by Fox News, you can see 200,000 people entered the country illegally since December 1st alone. That's 10,000 people a day and 11,600 people in the last 24 hours. That's math. And you'll say, well, that can't be, JP. Well, take a look at this video footage showing us reality, not the distorted reality that mainstream media tries to feed you, but this is the reality of people marching towards the border. Now, how many women and children do you see? There's certainly some, but most of those fellas look like military-aged men. And here you can see what a safe and secure border looks like. This is just, I guess, according to AOC, this is what fighting climate change looks like. Yeah, that's it. We're watching climate change. But AOC is a little angry at the Biden administration. The Biden administration also says, what border crisis? So what does the White House have to say about this issue? Well, the most informed source there is, of course, Jean-Karine Pierre. Let's see what that useful idiot has to say.
And what we're seeing here at the border, the migration flow, increased migration flow, certainly it ebbs and flows, and we're at a time of the year where we're seeing more at the border, and it's
the time of year like Christmas time, New Year's. It's just like we got 200,000 more people coming in this month because, Christmas time. It's the time of the year.
Unusual. This is an immigration system that has been broken for decades, and the president has taken this very seriously to try to do more.
I bet he's doing a lot of doo-doo, but this is just normal. According to her, it's the new normal. It's great. It's the great reset. Well, my freedom-loving friend, I just missed the table when I tried to slap it. So I want you to know that. But also, hats off to AOC. I don't know if there's anyone funnier than her. So I appreciate her informing us Americans on the climate crisis that's manifesting as a lot of illegal immigration. Appreciate you watching this video. Look forward to seeing you on our next one. But before that, I want you to know, I want you to stay free.